The 2024 MG3 is here, bigger, faster, better looking than its predecessor. It commands around 45% of the light car market, and there's a very good reason for that. It's pretty bloody good. This is Four Wheels in a Seat. I'm Alex Dalrymple. You found your way to my channel where I review new cars every week for people who are looking for a new car to buy and don't know which way to turn. I can help you out with a simple, straightforward review. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button down below, the notification bell, and if you enjoy the video, please do give me a like. Over the last 4.5 years of doing this channel, I've taken particular interest in how MG have improved their product lineup with each new model and product refresh. And I can't wait to get behind the wheel of the new Cyberster, by the way. And for an entry-level hybrid, the MG3 is just brilliant. So starting with looks, and from the front, the MG3 looks really good. In fact, it has a touch of another car called 3 about it, I think. The Mazda 3 with this sort of pointy, flat, low riding nose, big MG badge there. The one disappointment for me though are the headlights, which are halogens here in this entry-level Excite. You've got to step up to the Essence to get full LEDs. I've always been of the opinion that the designers at MG have always had a bit of a soft spot for Mazda, and you can see that across their product lineup. The ZS, to my eye, has always looked like it might have originated from Hiroshima. And side on, the MG3 to me looks a little bit like a Mazda 2, although I think it is just a little bit larger than that. And there's some more interesting designs here along the side of the car with the creases in the metalwork, and I especially like these classy 16-inch alloy wheels. The rear end of the MG3, I think, is where you see the biggest departure from the previous model, with the light clusters now down here on the waistline as opposed to up here on the C-pillar. It's a much cleaner, more traditional kind of hatchback look. Under the tailgate is a not huge but still practical 293-litre storage space. But the thing I'm most excited about with the MG3 Excite is the powertrain, because here we've got a 1.5-litre petrol engine connected to an electric motor, and together they output 155 kilowatts of power and an outstanding 425 newton meters of torque. That's quite a bit for such a small, affordable car. Fuel efficiency is really good too, clocking in at 4.3 litres per 100 kilometres on a combined cycle. The interior of the MG3 does involve the death of a lot of plastics. It's pretty much everywhere and it's hard and scratchy, but it does have an attractive design. There are nice textures. It's not an unpleasant place to be. The 10-inch center console screen is nice and big, nice and clear. It runs pretty much the same software that you'll find in the ZS SUV. Although it has had a slight redesign. Some of the corners have been rounded, some of the shades of grey are a little bit different, but it is a good system and pretty easy to use. However, in this entry-level model, you won't find native navigation or digital radio. You've got to step up to the Essence for those. There's Apple CarPlay and Android Auto, however, they are not wireless, and frustratingly, you will need a old-school USB-A cable to use them. Although there is a USB-C port, it only seems to work for power. The image from the reversing camera is quite acceptable, and there's a sound system that's okay. Moving down, a few controls here for the climate control, but most of that is run through the center screen. Volume controls here too. Air vents, hazard lights, we've got a tray here for your phone, the USB-A, USB-C port and a 12-volt outlet, cup holders, the gear shifter, which is now a rotary dial in this hybrid model. The center console bin is quite unique in that you can access it by sliding this door open, and also it's accessible underneath the armrest. The digital instrument cluster, it's 7 inches, it's quite small, doesn't really show a huge amount of information. Some of the graphics are just a little bit too small, but I mean, it does the job, it's quite adequate. The steering wheel is really nice. I like this steering wheel. It is quite plasticky though. There's no leather wrap on this entry-level model, but I really like the shape and feel of it. Flat top, flat bottom. We're starting to see that in a lot more cars now. I'm a bit of a fan. Controls here for the sound system as well as the adaptive cruise control. The steering wheel is height adjustable but not reach adjustable. The seats are fabric and they're quite comfortable. No electric adjustment, it's all manual, no lumbar support. One small complaint though is that at the bottom here, there's sort of just strange angle on this cushion where it kind of feels like I'm sitting on something, like there's something between my bum and the seat, and there's nothing there at all. It's just a bit of an odd sensation. Seating position in the cabin though is pretty good. It feels quite sporty because it's quite low in the cabin, and I'm not small, I'm 190 centimeters tall, but visibility is excellent. Can't really see the front of the bonnet though, just because the bonnet does slope away off into invisibility, but it's not a big car, so you're not really going to struggle with knowing where the boundaries are. Plenty of headroom, and even though there's no sunroof, it's still reasonably light in here, but the dark headliner does kind of darken things just a bit. And my first time sitting in the back seat of the MG3, and yeah, this wasn't ever really going to be much of a thing for me at 190 centimeters tall, so knees straight into the back of the seat in front of me. Sorry to the invisible driver. Plenty of footroom though, loads of footroom, which is good. Headroom, yeah, hair just touching the ceiling here, but that's not too bad. That's all right. No armrest though, unfortunately, and the seat is reasonably comfortable actually. Feels like there's a good amount of support. Just the one USB-C port here. Actually, no, it's not even USB-C, it's USB-A. One USB-A port here in the back. So yeah, for a short trip, the back seat's all right. An interesting thing happens when I back out of my driveway here, because it's like the car just sort of runs out of go. I gently touch the accelerator and then it just kind of stops, and I've got to push harder and it'll kind of lurch backwards a bit. A little bit disconcerting. It is incredible just how much better hybrids are now to drive than they used to be. I mean, thinking back to the Prius and even the Toyota Corolla hybrid of a few years ago, comparatively very boring cars to drive, where the MG3 is so lively and dynamic. It's really fun to drive, and you can't say that the same is true of all hybrids. It's also very quiet. The sound deadening is great. Not a lot of noise coming in from the outside world at all, really. Switching between the petrol and electric motors is very quiet, unlike a lot of hybrids. When the petrol engine does kick in, it doesn't really make very much noise. There is one thing that does make noise though, and that is the safety systems from the center console screen. And while you can switch them off, you have to do it on every trip, and that is quite annoying. It doesn't remember the settings from trip to trip. So if you veer out of the lane, if you exceed the speed limit, if there's a change in the speed limit, you'll hear about it. And that beeping just then, I have no idea what that's for. I really don't. There's nothing that displays when that beeps. Unlike most conventional hybrids, this car actually has different levels of regenerative braking. Now, it's not nearly as strong as what you get in a regular EV, but it is noticeable, and I like it at its highest setting. But again, it doesn't remember your previous setting from trip to trip, so you have to change it every time you get in the car. So this is classed as a light car, which makes it smaller than a Corolla or Hyundai i30, but bigger than a Kia Picanto. But to drive it, it does feel like a regular small car. It doesn't feel exceptionally small. The only time you really do notice that is when you're driving in bumper-to-bumper traffic like I am right now, and you're trying to get people to let you in and they don't. You really do notice the difference when you're driving a big SUV or a ute, because people just make way for you. In the MG3, you feel a bit invisible. And you get tooted a lot too. I did nothing wrong. Is the MG3 a turn-back car, a car so good looking you have to turn back and look at it after you parked it? It's quite attractive. I don't think it's a turn-back car. It's just a little bit invisible. To be completely honest, I was not looking forward to driving the MG3 for a week. I was thinking, oh, this is going to be a bit boring. But that's not the case at all. It's actually really engaging and quite a bit of fun to drive. It's easy to see why the MG3 sells as well as it does. It's affordable, it's good looking, it's really great to drive, and comes with a 10-year warranty. What's not to love?